I want to talk about the Metallica 3-to-1 ratio, which is a very important songwriting ratio that you learn. Now, now I can tell most of you are Metallica fans, pretty much just by looking at you. That's my demo. The SGU and Metallica, that's my demo. Metallica has a song called Enter Sandman, which is like their biggest sort of hit of all time. Now, originally when that riff was written by, the guitarist's name is what? Kirk Hammett wrote Kirk Hammett? Kirk Hetfield? No. James Hetfield is a singer. The guitarist is Kirk Hammett. Okay, cool. He wrote this riff, and it sounded like this. And with the band, it sounds like this. 2, 3, 4. And the drummer, Lars Ulrich, said, why don't you take that first part and repeat that first part 3 times? Repeat the first part 3 times. It'll be heavier and cooler. Instead of just doing that, take the A, and then instead of A, B, go A, B, and it'll be cooler. So the riff ended up being this. With the band, 2, 3, ah. So it gives you this nicer platform upon which to write melodies and stuff, and so it's not quite as busy. So I kept this in mind when I was writing these riffs, and I was distilling all the 500 little 4-bar, 10-second, 15-second snippets in my phone, thinking, oh yeah, don't forget the 3-to-1 Metallica rule. So this next song, originally the bass riff that was written for the song Pretty Awful, it sounded like this. 2, 3. It was a 2-bar riff. And so I had guitar on top of that. All right, keep going. Yeah, 3, 4. And then I thought, wait, I need to picture Lars sitting there telling me, no, George, take the first part and repeat it 3 times, and then do the second part, which ended up sounding like this. 2, 3, 4. Again, gives you such a nicer sort of like breathing room to then sort of write a phrase on top of it. So throughout the whole album, I kept thinking, remember that sort of 3-to-1 thing, 3-to-1, or you can do a limerick sort of ratio too, where you do like 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, yeah, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, which is kind of nice. You get this like imbalanced thing. So that happens in here. This song also features my favorite instrument on stage, which is the glockenspiel, the bells right there. Kiera plays the bells. And what the bells represent how cool percussion is. And people ask me, why do you play percussion? Why did you like being a percussionist? Why did you study drums in college? Why did you do that? And what's so great is you can have an entire orchestra playing of 60 people, 65 people. You can have an entire rock band playing. But if you just play one note, everybody hears that. You can have 40 violins sawing away like crazy, but like one triangle note, bing, one bell note, and it's like boom. So in this context of sort of a heavier, funkier rock tune, to have bells come in and play, it's weird, but it's just awesome because she outlines the melody when it happens in this variation. So listen for that as that sort of happens, and that's a section that I absolutely love. Do the vocal harmony, up and bells, right? Weird chords. So the chords that happen in the intro, again, we're dealing with the Steely Dan kind of stuff. D major 7, again that C sharp Hendrix chord to an F sharp sort of open 9 kind of thing, and then these are very jazzy chords, you know. But they sort of work in the context of this, so it's an intro and it's an interlude, and then and it just sort of it adds a little bit of a different sort of flavor to the rock tune of it. The lyrics in this is called Pretty Awful, and it was an interesting thing to think of, that people that are attractive can get away with murder, because they're good looking, and it's one of the most unfair things of the way the universe works. And sometimes the worst part of it, I think, is when pretty people don't even realize what they're getting away with, and they just assume that's how the world works. And it's like, no, you're attractive. That's why you do that thing that you do. And it's not male or female, it's both, it's anybody. So I like this idea of like, yeah, you're pretty awful. You're pretty awful. Yeah, that's what this is. Okay.
That was C.J. Steinway on the solo right over there. Come on.